Hello everyone. In this session, I'm going to discuss some most important question on rotational motion. So let's start. What is our first question? Our first question is a wheel is rotating with angular velocity 2 radian per second. It is subjected to a uniform angular acceleration. So according to the question, the angular velocity is given, that is W equals to, that is called omega equals to 2 radian per second. Okay guys? And angular acceleration alpha is given, that is 2 radian per second square. The question is, what is the angular velocity does the wheel acquire after 10 seconds? So what we have to find out? We have to find out the angular velocity of the wheel after 10 seconds. So according to the question, okay, omega is given, that is 2 radian per second. We have to find out the angular velocity after 2 seconds. So that means the initial angular velocity is given, that is omega naught, right? We know from angular velocity equation, that is omega equals to omega naught plus alpha t. Here what is omega? Omega is the final velocity after some time, that is given 10 seconds. Omega naught is the initial velocity, alpha is the angular acceleration, and t is the time. So here in this question it is given that omega naught is 2 radian per second, alpha is given 2 radian per second square, that is alpha angular acceleration, and we have time, that is 10 seconds. So from this question we can say that it will be 2 plus 20 and it will be okay, 22 radian per second. So that is our answer. This is the value of omega. What is this? This is the value of omega after 10 seconds. Got it? Okay. Now we have to move on the next question. What is the next question? A wheel rotates with a constant angular acceleration alpha. Okay. So wheel rotates with a constant acceleration 2 radian per second square. So in this question, angular acceleration alpha is given, that is 2 radian per second square. What is this? 2 radian per second square. Okay. And the wheel start from rest. So if the wheel starting from rest, so from this question we can say that what will be omega naught? Omega naught will be 0, right? The question is number of revolution it makes in the first 10 seconds. So we have to find out the number of rotation, that is n. Okay, what is n here? What will be the number of rotation? And what time? After what time? After 10 seconds. Okay, after 10 seconds. So let's move to the question. How can we do it? Okay. Now check it out. What is the given value here? If we check the question, if we check the question, what is the given value here? Alpha is given, that is 2 radian per second square. And initial angular velocity is also given. Okay. So here what is the initial angular velocity? It is starting from rest. That means the initial angular velocity is 0. Okay. So we have to find out what is the number of rotation. Guys, we know if a particle rotate for one rotation, okay, uh, when the angular displacement is 2 pi, okay, when the angular displacement is 2 pi, the number of rotation is 1, right? Got it? We know when the angular displacement is 2 pi, if a particle rotate 2 pi, clear, that means one rotation. And if the angular displacement is 1 unit, that is 1 by 2 pi. And if the angular displacement is theta, if somehow if we get theta, then what will be the number of rotation? For 2 pi, number of rotation 1. For a 1 unit, number of rotation 1 by 2 pi. And for theta 1 in number of rotation will be 1 by 2 pi into theta. So that will be our n, right? That will be our n. So somehow we have to find out the value of theta. So if I get the value of theta, what we have to do, we have to divide by 2. Okay, so let's try. How can we get the value of theta? So guys, we know one thing, that theta equals to, we know this equation, theta equals to omega t plus 1 by 2 alpha t square, right? We know this equation. So according to the question, what is initial angular velocity? 0, that is omega naught is 0. We are finding theta here. Into 1 by 2, here alpha is given. What is alpha? That is 2 radian per second square. And what is the time? That is 10 seconds. So it will be 10 square. So now if we solve this equation, it will be 100. Okay. What will be the value? That will be 100 radian. Got it. So now we have theta equals to 100 radian, right? What we have to find out? We have to find out the value of number of rotation. So as I told you, what will be the number of rotation? If you want to find out the number of rotation, I told you before that it will be theta by 2 pi. So guys, what is theta here? Theta is 100 radian. Okay. And 2 pi, clear. Pi is 3.141, right? 3.141. So if you solve it, the approximate answer will be, got it? If you solve it, the approximate answer will be 16, right? So here, what is the number of rotation? The number of rotation is 16. I hope it is clear. Just try to understand in this question what is the given value. You have the value of alpha. What is alpha here? That is 2 radian per second square. So if you have the value of alpha, just note it down. At first, when you are solving the question, just note it down what is alpha here. So alpha is 2 radian per second square. And in this question, it is also given that what is the initial angular velocity? The initial angular velocity is omega naught. And what is omega naught is 0. Okay, right? In this question, what is initial angular velocity? Initial angular velocity is omega naught, that is 0. And what we are going to find out? We are going to find out theta, because somehow if we get the value of theta, we can easily find out what will be the number of rotation. So according to the question, we can what will be the value of theta? Theta we know the formula for theta will be omega naught t plus 1 by 2 alpha t square. So guys, just try to understand what is omega naught. It is already given, it is starting from rest. So if it is starting from rest, then what will be omega naught? Omega naught will be 0 plus 1 by 2 alpha is given, already given, it is 2 radian per second square, and time is given, that is 10 seconds. So from this equation we have the value of theta, that is 100 radian. So now if you have the value of theta, you can easily find out what will be the number of rotations. So how can we find out the number of rotation? So number of rotation can be find out by using the formula, that is n equals to theta by 2 pi. And if I solve it, the answer will be 16. So what is the number of rotation here? The number of rotation is 16. Okay. Now I'm moving to the next one. What is the next question? The next question is, a wheel rotates with uniform acceleration. The wheel is rotating with uniform acceleration. Okay, got it? Just try to understand what is the question here. The wheel is rotating with uniform acceleration. That means alpha is constant. Alpha is not changing. Okay. And angular velocity increases from. That means angular velocity, it was omega 1, or you can write here omega naught. That was 20 pi, and omega will be 40 pi. It was radian per second, and it was also radian per second, right? Okay. In t seconds, so in this question it is already given, that is what is the time here? 10 seconds. How many rotation did it undergo in this period? So like the same question, like before that we have solved a similar type of question. What we have to find out? We have to find out the number of rotation. So guys, how can we find out the number of rotation? Okay, easily we can do it, because just try to understand, try to remember how many formula you already know. You know some basic formula, right? What are the formula? Okay, just let me change the color of the pen. Just wait. We know the formula, that is omega equals to omega naught plus alpha t. Omega square equals to omega naught square plus 2 alpha theta. Okay, and we also know that theta equals to omega naught t plus 1 by 2 alpha t square. So guys, just try to understand from this question. We have alpha, we have omega naught, and we have omega, and we have also t. So which formula we can use? Okay, we can use this one and also this one, because we have to find out the number of rotation. In the earlier question I have said that how can we find out the number of rotation? Somehow if we get theta, so just we need to divide by 2 pi. So what we have to find out, we have to find out the value of theta. Okay, so how can we find out theta? Guys, just try to understand. We know the formula, that is omega square equals to omega naught square plus 2 alpha theta, right? Okay, this formula we already know. Yes or no? This formula we have. Okay, so guys, there is a problem. One thing is that we don't know what is the value of alpha here, right? Okay, so what can we do? We have to find out alpha. Okay, just let me find out the value of alpha, because if you want to apply this formula, na, just try to understand. If you want to apply this formula, so you need alpha. So how can we do it? We have to do one thing, that is we can write here, that is omega square, sorry, omega equals to, just using this formula. I'm using this formula. First formula I'm using, omega equals to omega naught plus alpha t. So just try to understand what is omega naught here. Omega naught here, that is 40 pi. What is omega naught here? 40 pi plus alpha into time. What is the time here? That is 10 second, right? What is the time here? 10 second. And omega is also given, that is oh, I did some mistake. It will be 20 pi. Okay, and it will be 40 pi. Clear? So we can write here that 10 alpha equals to 20 pi. That means alpha equals to 2 pi radian per second square. Okay. So what is the value of alpha? That is 2 pi radian per second square. So just do it. We have here omega. So what is omega here? 40 pi. So note it down, 40 with pi. So 40 pi whole square equals to omega naught we have, that is 20 pi. So it is also 20 pi plus 2 into alpha. What is alpha? We have already the value of alpha, that is 2 pi, into we also have the value of, oh no, we don't have the value of theta. So 2 alpha into theta, we have put it the value of the alpha here. What is the value of alpha? That is 2 pi. So if I solve the question, it will be 40 pi square minus 20 pi square by 4 pi equals to theta. Okay, just calculate this equation. If you calculate it, it will be 360. If you solve it, then theta will be, it will be 360. Okay, 360 pi. Now if you have the value of this theta, 360 pi, theta is 360 pi. If you solve it, then theta will be 360 pi. So if theta is 360 pi, what will be the value of n here? N we know, I told you before, that theta by 2 pi. Okay, just put the value of theta, that is 360 pi by 2 pi. And what will be the answer? 150. So what will be the answer? 150. Clear? So there will be total will be 150 rotation. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the class. Okay, so if you like my class, please do subscribe. Bye, see you again.